Can you really make millions being an artist? I refrain from mentioning this conversation as people often think it's a scam, or people get bored of hearing the messages online of, look how I made all this money in a week. So I do refrain from talking about this topic. However, today's conversation is different. I have an incredible guest joining us today who is 100% legitimate. He's been working in the online space for decades and has worked with some of the biggest names in the industry. He's also got a fantastic understanding of artists, having worked with many artists to help them take what they know, love, do, and turn it into recurring revenue every month. That's money coming in month after month and has helped many, many artists make thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and yes, even millions. I have been witness to this because I've been in his world now for nearly 10 years next year. And I've seen him make incredible, incredible impact on the lives of many people that I know personally too. And it isn't just about the money. It's about the impact that you can make as an artist that's even more exciting. And for me, having gone through this whole experience myself in terms of being an artist who started out wanting to make art on my own terms, I wanted to have complete freedom to be able to pick my children up from school. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere in the world. That one was really, really important to me. And I remember 10 years ago listing all of this out. Like, I want to be around creatives. I want to talk to creatives. I want to go to galleries. I want to live in this creative world that I had created when I was at university and I was studying art. And I wanted it so desperately to carry on. But I knew back then that selling art alone wasn't enough for me. I didn't really like being in a studio all day by myself. I really struggled with the idea of being insular and then going to fairs and going to exhibitions. Um, for me, um, it was more about I knew I wanted to connect with people. And I knew that I wanted to create something more than was just my own art. But I also knew that making my own art was also important. And I'm just seeing where Stu is now. Hold on a second. And so that's send a quick message. And so, yeah, for me, this happened 10 years ago of this crazy dream that I thought, really? Can I really do that? Oh, and make money. That was the caveat to all of that, that I want to live this life, but also make money whilst I'm doing it. And it seemed absolutely absurd. But at the time, I was following people like Beth Kempton, and I was following other people, Carrie Green. And that's when I was introduced to this membership model. And I remember reading or hearing a story about this guy called Stu McLaren. And I thought, oh my gosh, he is the guy that I need to learn this from. And that was nearly 10 years ago. And I've been on the most incredible, incredible journey ever since. So I am so excited to welcome today's guest, author of the book, Predictable Profits, about to appear on the screen like magic.
Hello!
Oh,
Oh, you know how it warms my heart to see you hold that book, Michelle? It is like, look at, but you know what else warms my heart is to hear you recap your story. Like, it has been an absolutely incredible journey. And I have just absolutely loved watching you grow as as a person, as a businesswoman, as an artist, and just as a community leader to rally your artists and just to serve them and support them on a whole nother level. It's been absolutely
Well,
beautiful.
yeah, and it's the gift you've given me, because I was just saying that that was my dream and it felt so absurd and so far-fetched, but yet that is now what I'm doing. It's a life built on my own terms. And also just have to share as well my own book, because I have to thank Stu for this, because really everything I learned in here came from Stu in some way, shape, or form. But also for me, Stu helped me find my own voice. You know, I remember joining his program years ago and I was very lost. I knew I wanted to help artists, but I had no idea how or what way. I didn't really feel like an expert in anything. I just knew I wanted to help people. And so to have this book now written from everything that I learned from Stu along the years, yay, go books.
Oh, yay. No, it's been amazing, buddy. And it's a testament to you. Like, you've had this incredible membership because you just care for people. And I think that when you come from a place of caring and when you come from a place of heart, like, that is a tremendous foundation for any membership. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, is we're helping people. We're helping them progress towards some kind of goal or transformation or outcome.
Yeah.
And you can't help people if you don't care about them. And
Yeah.
so that is like a very important ingredient, which is why you thrive.
And I know, having worked with so many artists over the years, that artists are a caring bunch. Like, that's why they make art, because there's something in all of you. There's this urge to share creatively, to express yourself creatively. And in all of that, by default, a lot of people that I know and have worked with, there is this natural tendency to want to share, to give back, to be open, to learn from each other. And one of the things that's been really lovely for us in our membership is this openness to share. In some art memberships and places, and I don't know, because I'm speaking from other people's experiences being passed on to me, there's sometimes this thing about protecting what I know, don't share it with anyone else. But in our community, we're just so giving. And that's something I've learned from Stu, is pass it on, and then it comes back and we skill share and we do all sorts of amazing things because we're lifting each other. There is no sense of competition in our community because we're all sharing and we're all growing together. So that's something else that I've learned from
Well,
Stu.
it speaks to your T-shirt. It's the we over
Yeah,
me. I mean, that's exactly the whole philosophy. Yeah, I love it.
exactly. I know. So before we dive in, we're going to be talking about memberships, especially for artists. Stu has lots of experience working with artists. And so we're going to delve into that today. Stu, I'd love you to start by tooting your own horn. I would love you to tell us a little bit, for people who don't know you, you know, that you've worked with artists. I want you to share this because I wouldn't share anybody unless I knew they were 100% legitimate. Stu is the real deal. I've been following him now for nearly 10 years. But share with us, you know, the impact that you've had, the people that you've helped over the years.
Well, it's interesting, Michelle, because like I've been in business now myself for 23 years. And 21 of those years, I've had an online business. And 17 of those years, I have been focused on helping people with one specific thing, which is this: helping people launch, grow, and scale highly profitable memberships. So for 17 years, I've been obsessing over this one thing. And at the end of the day, like, what I have found is that of all the tens of thousands of people that we have served in all kinds of markets, from photography and calligraphy to fitness and finance and music and art and health and dog training. I mean, we even have Holly George, who has a membership site teaching people how to make balloon animals, for crying out loud. Like, every market you could potentially ever think of, we have served. Of all
Yeah.
of those, some of the most successful memberships are in the art space. So
Yeah.
I think of you, of course. You're an absolute poster child. We did a case study with you because what you've done is amazing. You've got an incredible story. I think of our dear friend Bonnie over in the UK with her membership, Bonnie Snowden Academy. She teaches people how to draw realistic animals with colored pencils. And she did an Instagram post 2 years ago in 2023, and it was talking about her journey. And she launched her membership in 2021, and by 2023, it was $1 million plus membership. Now it's way beyond that,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's in
multi-million.
teaching
Yeah.
people how to draw realistic animals with colored pencils.
Yeah.
Or I think of another Bonnie Christine. She's in the surface pattern design market, and she teaches people how to make a living, creating patterns and selling and licensing those patterns. And she has a multi-million-dollar a year membership. Or I think of Christy Hawkins. She teaches women how to paint, and in her membership, one of the things that I love that she does is the first month of membership, she donates to purchase a meal for kids in, I think it's Ecuador or Guatemala. That's it. It's Guatemala. So there's an organization she works with, and the first month that somebody joins her membership, that goes to buying a meal for these kids in the school in Guatemala. And it's incredible. Or I think of Allie Kay, who also is, teaches a certain style of painting. And she's got thousands and thousands of members in her membership. Or I think of Nicholas Wilton, who's got an incredible membership. These are all in the art space. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Or I think of Tamara Bennett, who has a membership with thousands of members teaching people how to paint decorative door hangers, like crazy pants.
We have someone teaching felt mushrooms, isn't there now? Yeah, felt mushrooms.
Mushrooms, like I don't even I think I've seen it all. And then along comes, I think it's Sophie who's got the membership teaching people how to make felt mushrooms for crying out. I said to my team, what is it? Like, I had to look it up online. I'm like, I don't even know. But it's amazing. It's amazing. And
Well, do you know what I love about this too? And because we know it's not just all about the money, but I do want to just talk about the money for a minute because the money is important. And I talked about this last week in a podcast that traditionally for an artist to make millions from their art, you have to be highly connected. It's a very elitist area of the art world when you're getting to that kind of level. It's really hard to get through. You've got to, there's hoops that you've got to jump through usually to make that kind of money as an artist. And it's reserved for the elite few. Whereas now, what absolutely blows my mind and why Stu is so amazing is that artists now, everyday people can make millions from their creativity without having to be highly qualified, without having to have huge collections of work that are gallery ready. Literally from your kitchen table, you don't even need a studio that you've got to try and show off to somebody to impress them. You can do this from your dining room table and reach people around the world without even having to go out the house. I mean, it is just so absolutely mind-blowing, but also the amount of money that can be made. And I know some people here are excited about that. And some people, because you're artists, you're like, oh, I don't want to earn money. But you do really, and that's why you're here. And so one of the things that Stu taught me, and please do take part in the free workshops, the link is above, because when I took part in those free workshops, that's one of the things that I started to get my head around. And what Stu teaches so beautifully is the more money you make, the more impact you can make.
Yes.
And that's what this is all about too. It's yes, that we can make money, which is brilliant for all of us, but in all of this is the impact that you can have on other people, but also the impact on yourself. For me, having gone through this experience, it has totally changed my life. And I'm not sitting here flippantly saying that. It has changed me as a person in ways that I didn't even knew needed changing, and it's made me a better person. I understand my art more, so I wasn't signing up for this thinking that I'd learn more about my art, but I really have. And it's connected me to the most incredible people. I've had to really learn new things, and because I'm in Stu's world, I'm kept up to date with what's going on, so I'm constantly learning, constantly growing, and it's impacted me in other creative outlet ways too. I went hiking. Some of you might remember a few years ago, I went hiking, and that was because of Stu. It's just this whole journey of having a membership to connect people and bring them together has been the most beautiful thing I've ever done, as a creative. It really has. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and to that, Michelle, I think it's important to just pause for a second and talk about money because, I know from my work with artists that, you know, you mentioned it. Artists care. They care deeply about, helping people, which is a big reason why so many artists look to produce art is because they care and they want to have impact on the people as they're viewing the art and experiencing the art. And what I would say is that, I used to struggle with money. For a long time, I felt guilty about making money.
Mm.
In my journey of growing my business, I had some success early on where I was making more money than both of my parents combined, and I was still living in their basement. Like it was embarrassing to look back on it, but I was still living in my parents' basement. I was making more money than both of them combined, and I used to feel really guilty about that. And it wasn't until a few years later when my wife, now wife, took me to Kenya, and we were looking to build our very first school for a nonprofit charity that my wife and I started. And I remember talking to the chairman of this community, and I'm just trying to figure out how much things cost. I mean, we had never built a school, let alone build a school in a foreign country. And so I don't know what things cost. So I'm talking to this gentleman and I'm asking him, and I asked him how much it costs to fund the full-time salary of a teacher. And he thought for a moment and he said, it's about $100 a month. And I don't know what it was, but that moment, like something just clicked for me because I was selling a software product that was $100 for a single site license. And I immediately just made this connection. I was just like, well, wait a minute. Like if I just sell one more license of this software, then I could fund the full-time salary of the teacher. And then the real light bulb went off, which was like, well, what if I make a whole lot more money and I just allocate a whole lot more to the people and causes I'm passionate about? Imagine the impact I could have then. And like, here's a picture. This is my wife and I, and during the opening of our most recent school, and this gentleman here, right here, this is the president of Kenya. This is the president of Kenya. We were opening our 15th school, and the president of Kenya came to open that school. Our schools now are home to more than 5,000 plus kids. And I share this because sometimes we can't see the impact yet, but we have a heart for it.
Mm.
And I can tell you, being on the other side, also running a nonprofit with my wife, that kind of impact cannot happen if it weren't for the generosity of people donating money. Like we can want to volunteer all we want, but we only have 24 hours a day and we can't volunteer all 24 hours. And so there's a limit on how much we can physically give to help. But my goodness, when you've got financial resources, you can give and give and give. And when those financial resources are recurring, like they are with a membership, it's like a well that is always full. It's always full. You can just keep taking, keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. And there's always more to give because the money keeps coming back again and again and again. And so it was a shift for me in a mindset because the very next year, where I used to be stuck in terms of my income, I immediately like blew through that. And it went from a 6-figure business to a 7-figure business to an 8-figure business and beyond. And the reason is because for me, I love making money. Like universe, I love making money. And the
Get that clear.
yes, because the more money I make, the more impact I can have, the more good I can do. And it's not just like with causes and charities. Yes, that's amazing. But it's also like with our family and friends and creating special memories and experiences. And so at the end of the day, I want to encourage people like making money is a really good thing, especially when you are a good-hearted person, because
Mm,
all money does is amplify who you are. That's it. That's all money does, is it just amplifies who you are. So when you are a good person, it's just going to give you the ability to do more good. And
mm,
so I just want to encourage everybody, like, we live in an amazing time. I know there's a lot of craziness happening around the world and there's a lot of uncertainty, but when you take a step back and you look at, to your point, Michelle, we live in an amazing time. Like, before, there were all these gatekeepers. You had to be
mm.
an elite, in that elite circle in order for you to be able to build a viable business as an artist. Today, as long as you got an internet connection, oh my goodness, the world is your oyster. Because what the internet has done is it's brought all of us who have a shared passion together, and we can just
Yeah.
create a safe place, and it creates magic. And so I'm really, really passionate and excited about this, as you can probably tell. You know this, Michelle. But I just want to
That's
encourage everybody, like, if you've ever struggled with the thought of making money as an artist, I want you to know that there will be more beauty, more good, more helping others when you can amplify your own financial resources. And so, universe, we love making money. We
Let's all
want more
repeat.
money. Yes.
Everyone say it right now. We love making money.
Yes.
Chant it out loud. The other thing I want to say to that too is there might be lots of people here who have tried already. Maybe you're struggling. You maybe think, oh, this group of people that Stu's just mentioned, they're unicorns. It's not going to work for me. They're special people. I just want to share quickly before we delve into the different types of memberships that for me, for me, it took a while, and I'm going to be honest right now. For me, my membership didn't just fly straight away, and Stu will remember this. It took a long time because I was a pain going, it's not working. And because for a few reasons, there was the whole thing we've just been talking about. I was so blocked financially, so blocked. I didn't realize how much until I entered Stu's world. And that was one of the reasons why I did, because that spoke to me really loudly. But also, as you go through this, you might have tried things before, and please let us know in the comments. We did a podcast on this topic last year. Did you join us? I'd love to know in the chat. Did you join us? Let us know. Or are you new here? Are you new to this conversation? Let me know in the chat. I'm going back to read everybody's comments on this. But one of the things for me is it took me a while to get going. And I learned a lot from Stu about my messaging, about what it is that I stand for. And in fact, in the book here, this was the page that I earmarked, what do you stand for? This is all the stuff that Stu's going to cover in the workshops, by the way. So, sign up for the workshops. That's where you'll learn all of this and beyond that too. But I just want to share that don't be disheartened if you feel like you've tried this already. You've tried 1,000 things. You put your work out there. It's not working. Or you might think all these people now have membership sites already. So what's the point in me creating a membership site when they're already doing it? These are all stories that I hear that are just not true. There is a place for everybody. There really, really is. And especially when it comes to memberships, because as Stu teaches, it's about you cultivating your own community. Someone said this to me today. What's the point in me sharing this when I know someone else is doing it? And I said, because there's people out there that don't want to listen to them and they want to listen to you. So remember that as well as we go through this, because I know as artists, you might already be coming into this struggling, thinking, is it really possible for me? And it absolutely is. And I always say, if I can do it, you can do it.
Well, Michelle, let's relate it back to art. It would be like a similar thought to say, well, somebody's already created a piece of art, so why should I create any more? It's like, well, no, like, the more art this world has, the better the world is. Like, people appreciate art for a whole bunch of different reasons, and it's the same inside of a membership. People will appreciate you and your way of teaching and your way of sharing more than they will necessarily somebody else. So at the end of the day, there's so much opportunity. Like I think of Daniel in our Connect Mastermind, who's got a membership teaching kids how to draw. Like or I think of uh oh gosh, oh Casey, that's it, Casey. Casey has a calligraphy membership. Now, what was interesting about Casey's story is that she had launched that digital membership, and she also had an art studio, like a physical studio that kids would come into to learn how to paint. And during the pandemic, she sent me a message and she said, normally, Stu, I would be freaked out right now because we had to shut our physical brick and mortar studio. And so I'd be worried about, like, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay my staff? How am I going to pay myself? She said, but I don't have any of those fears. She said, because I have my digital calligraphy membership that continues to generate revenue every single month. And then about a month after I got that message from Casey, she sent me another message and she said, Stu, I realized there's an opportunity. She said, I've launched a second membership. And I'm like, well, what is that? She said, well, I realized, like, there's all these parents at home with young kids and they don't know, like, what to do with their kids during the day. She said, that's exactly what I used to do in my brick and mortar studios, help them and help these kids, like, learn how to become a young artist. So she said, so I just launched a second membership teaching kids how to paint. And she said, and it's taken off. And she's got in that second membership. And so I just share this because, again, there is so much opportunity, whether we read it or not. And people want to connect with you. They want to connect with you and your style. They want to learn from you. And that's where there's room and place for everyone. And so we are in an amazing time. And I want to continue to share the gospel, so to speak, of memberships, because I want people to realize that there is opportunity and there is a tremendous blessing in creating a business centered around the things that we love and being able to serve people and to be able to generate that stable recurring income as well.
Yeah, and lots of people are asking for the link. The link is in the comments above. I have put it into the chat. If you're listening to the replay, it will be underneath the replay of the podcast. We'll make it clear. It will be sent to you in an email as well. The workshop, we're going to talk a little bit more today about the types of memberships, but I just wanted to share quickly that I can see lots of specific questions coming in. And what I would encourage you to do is park those specific detailed questions for now and take part in the workshop with a completely open mind. Because if you come into it with, I think it should be this, I think it should be that, like what Stu just said, sometimes you'll come into this and listen to Stu telling you what to do. Just do what he says. For ages, I had on my board next to my bed, this is the amount of money I want to make, and I'm going to do it by doing everything Stu tells me to do. Just do what Stu says. And I mean that. Go into the workshop without all the stuff in your head and the questions and take part. It starts on the 8th of May. And so I'm going to be doing this again too. So if you want to take it with me, I'm going to be sharing what I'm going through, because my membership is going through an evolution right now. And I'm going to be sharing my journey too. Stu, have we got time to talk about the membership types? Because I'm just conscious that I know you're on a tight schedule. Have you got another one after me?
I do, but that's okay. We got a little bit of time before that one is queued up.
Okay. So shall we talk about the different types of memberships? Because that's always useful, I think, for people to know, because sometimes people look at me, for example, if you're in my world, you might see that I decided to pause my art making. So I still do it on a Friday. Art making for me is important. It's integral to everything that I do. However, for me, that was a conscious decision to park my art, because for me, it was more about helping people sell. I like connecting. I like to be a curator. This is what Stu taught me. I didn't know any of this about myself. So for me, it was a purpose decision. Now, some people are scared that setting a membership up means that you won't have time for your art anymore, but you can set it up so it is so in sync with your own art. And in fact, that's what I highly recommend you do. If you can connect it like Bonnie. So Bonnie gets paid now to sit and teach drawing while she's working on commissions. It's all tied in.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the different types of memberships.
Well, there are 4 different types, but I'm going to focus in on one of them. So I'll quickly breeze through the other 3. But the first one is a product-based membership. So this is where, a physical product is now turned into a membership. Think of like, socks of the month, t-shirts of the month, earrings of the month. Like instead of hoping that a customer comes back and buys from you again, you're sending a product out to them each and every month. The second type is a service-based membership. This is where, like Mary Claire Fredette in our community, she's a massage therapist. Instead of hoping that clients come back every month, she set up a membership where they pay a monthly fee and they get a slight discount and a certain number of massages. So it's taking a service and turning it into a membership. And so we've seen this be done with massage therapists, barbers. Like there's a barber shop here in Toronto where you get a certain number of cuts every month for a monthly fee, like, all kinds of different services. And then the other one that I'll mention is a community-based membership. That's where people pay to belong to a community of people who have shared interests and so forth. But the one that I want to center most of our attention on is a knowledge-based membership. And within a knowledge-based membership, you're essentially doing one of 3 things. And if you can say yes to one of these questions, then you're in a great market for a membership. So number 1 is, can you solve an ongoing problem? So what I mean by that is, like, I think of like weight loss as an example. Somebody's not going to go from being overweight to their ideal weight like that. It takes time to solve that problem, which makes it perfect for a membership. Or like relationships is another example. You're not going to go from like a terrible relationship to an amazing relationship like that. It takes time to solve that. And so if there's an ongoing problem in your market, that is a great indicator, like green light, thumbs up, move forward. The second indicator I look for with a knowledge-based membership is, can you teach a skill? Now, this is why so many of the artists are thriving, because they check this box. Because you're not going to go from, I don't know how to paint, to becoming a great artist like that. It takes time to learn those skills. And even when you've learned how to paint, you just go deeper and deeper in your level of mastery of those skills. So that's why, for most in the art space particularly, it checks that box. And that's why it's an amazing market for memberships, because people are learning skills. And then the third is, can you make someone's life more convenient? And so examples of this would be like we have a lot of teachers in our community who provide lesson plans for other teachers. So my wife was a teacher for 10 years, and I know firsthand that her evenings and weekends were consumed lesson planning. And so now there's so many teachers who have joined our community who have created memberships that provide lesson plans for certain types of teachers. I think of Patty Palmer. She was an art teacher, and she created a membership providing art lessons for other art teachers. And it has thousands and thousands of members. Or I think of Julie Soul, who has a membership providing homeschooling parents art lessons for their kids. And so again, they are making their members' lives easier, because the members don't have to think of the art lesson. They're just handed the lesson on a silver platter and they can go use it. So it makes their life easier. So whether it's lesson plans or templates, I think of our friend Mim, who has a membership in the sticker space. And one of the big deliverables is providing templates for people. Like, it makes their life easier. And so that also makes for another great membership. So we've got product-based memberships, service-based memberships, community-based memberships. And the last one we spent our time on is a knowledge-based memberships. And what we're looking for in those knowledge-based memberships is, can you solve an ongoing problem? Can you teach a skill? Or can you make someone's life easier? And if you can say yes to any one of those 3 questions, you're in a great market. You should absolutely move forward.
Yeah, great questions. And also just want to add to that too. Someone has just written in saying, what if I'm not a character or someone who likes to talk or teach? That's exactly how I felt, believe it or not, because I love talking now and I love teaching. But when I first started, I actually didn't. I had a desire to help artists. I didn't like teaching art. I didn't want anybody looking over my shoulder as I made art. It's a very private thing for me. And so that was one of the things that Stu said to me years and years and years ago. You don't need to be the expert in this. You can be the curator and actually bring people in. And I was like, oh wow. So it's just opened my mind in the many ways that you can run a membership. It doesn't have to be you being the front face of it, teaching people necessarily. It can be non-community. It might just be a membership site where you just have downloads for people, like Stu said, lesson plans. So you don't even need to be in front of people necessarily. But yeah, what do you think to that, Stu? Because I know that you've worked with
Yeah.
more people who probably
Yeah,
feel
you
this
hit the
way.
nail on the head. You don't have to be the expert by any means. Like there are many examples. John Gallagher is a great example. So he had a passion for natural herbs and remedies, and he wasn't the expert, but he had a passion for it.
Mm,
So he created a community, a central place where people with the same passion could gather. And then his whole role was to like be his members, meaning like, what are they thinking? Where are they stuck? What questions do they have? And then he would gather all of that, and then he would go and find the person who could answer that and bring them into the membership as a guest. And so he was the curator of that experience. He wasn't the expert. Now, the amazing part is that he's had that membership now, I think, for almost 17 years, which is kind of crazy.
mm,
And now, of course, he's developed an expertise over that 17-year period. But when he began, he was not. He was just the curator, bringing one, identifying the needs of his members, and then two, going out and finding people who could speak to those needs, and then being the facilitator of that experience. Or another example of somebody who has had a membership that, again, wasn't the expert is Scott Paley. So he has a membership site helping nonprofit leaders. It has more than 6,000 monthly paying members. And the crazy part is he's not the face, he's not the expert, he doesn't teach inside of his membership at all. What he did was he partnered with somebody who is the expert. So he created the membership and helps with all of the marketing. And his business partner, Joan Gary, she is the person who does the teaching. And so he's passionate about the topic. He loves helping nonprofits, but that's not necessarily his expertise. That's Joan's. And so they've partnered together. And so there's many different ways
mm.
to be able to do it, whether you want to be the teacher and the face, or if you don't want to be the teacher and don't want to be in front of a camera, you can do it in many different ways. And that's the fun part about a membership, is that it is adaptable based on what it is that you want. You just got to get clear first on what it is that you want, and then you can build a game plan accordingly.
And talking about that, actually, before I move on, let us know in the chat below. Have you got a membership idea? Does this excite you? Do you think, yes, I'd like to, or are you scared? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm going to check every single comment. If you've got questions for me, let me know too. But talking about,
I just saw one with
yeah,
Crafting with Love Not Creations, who just said they just launched and they already have 6 people signed up, which is amazing. That is so fun.
that is fantastic. I love the name too. Love Not Creations. Love it. The other thing I wanted to say on the back of that about collaborating too is that because I've been in Stu's world for such a long time, I'm connected to lots of people now and have collaborated. So in so many different ways with other artists, with other membership site owners too. So it's something that's very holistic, like you're not in it by yourself. As soon as you get into Stu's world, it opens up so many doors. And in fact, that conversation about collaborating, I've been speaking to a friend of ours, Daniel, who reached out to me and said, do you want to collaborate on something? Like, I know that you love launching. I don't. I just like the drawing, and I just wondered whether you want to collaborate. And I was like, yeah, I do. So it just shows you that example too, that you might be sat on an idea and actually someone else takes it off your plate, and you just, this again, keep an open mind, there's loads, the chat's popping, I love it. The Chakra Creativity Club, very scared, you can do this, Simone, you can do it. I have so many
No,
ideas, but I doubt if any of them will work. One way to find out, and that's to try. That's where
yeah,
I was at.
can I speak to that for a second,
Yeah.
Michelle? Like, here's what I want everybody to realize. When you have an idea, the worst thing that you can do is to wait on that idea until it's, quote, perfect. Because, there's this fear that if we put something out there and it's not perfect, that people won't say yes to it. And if they don't say yes to it, like, the idea is done forever. That the idea sucks, that we suck. Oh, we shouldn't have done this. Oh my gosh. And we beat ourselves up. And what I want to encourage everybody to do is just shift your energy a little bit and not think of it as like this huge thing that you got to do, but like this light and easy experiment. We're just putting an idea out there. And and if people gravitate toward it, amazing. And if they don't, that's okay. But isn't it better to learn whether what we're saying is going to attract the people that we want to serve before we go and create something? So my encouragement to you is just take a deep breath, like, remove the pressure, and just think of it as a simple little experiment. And we'll walk you through this, by the way, in the free workshop that Michelle has been talking about, where we're going to walk you through that process. Like, during the free workshop, I'm going to walk you through a super simple process for floating that idea out there and for gauging whether there is interest. And if there is interest, amazing. Because my goal is to help you welcome paying members into your membership by the end of the free workshop. So, like, imagine that. Like, you come into the free workshop, I'm going to be teaching you, you're going to be implementing, and by the end of the free workshop, you're going to have paying members into your membership. Yes, that's my goal. That's my goal, right? And so I just want to encourage everybody, don't put this huge pressure on yourself that you have to have everything figured out. It has to be super clear. It has to be perfect. No, because in a membership, the beauty about a membership is that it's always evolving based on what you're learning about your members. And so one of the big mistakes I see a lot of people make is they think they know what their members want. They go and create a whole bunch of content. Then they get members in and realize, like, all of that stuff that they created that they thought the members would need and want is not actually the best way to serve their members right now. And so we want to be able to have members in the membership as quickly as possible so that we can learn from that experience. And that learning is going to accelerate your growth. It's going to support them. And you're going to have a far more successful membership long term by getting members in early. And so let's remove the pressure that we got to get it perfect. Let's just float some ideas out there.
I want to speak to that so much because I put off joining. I did the free training and I thought I have to go off and I have to get the idea sorted out so I can come back and, nail this down. A year went on. I still was no further forward. So then I ended up going through it again. And when I joined Stu's program, that's when I really started to figure out what it is. And like Stu said, what I did is I launched with no members inside. There were, with no content inside. And I said, this is my idea. And that's exactly how I built it up to what it is today. And it takes time to build. So the sooner you get it going, the sooner it's going to build. Because for me, in hindsight now, and it's an easy thing to say, but I wish I'd just got going sooner. But it's easy for us to look back and think that everything happens, I'm sure, in the right way at the right time. But there is so much to be learned from, doing it, testing things. I've also had a second membership, where I got excited with the first membership and set a second one up, and I closed it down. It just wasn't the right thing. And it doesn't matter. It's like Stu says, it's a test. It's like, let's try it. Let's do this. So I'm loving this conversation so much. I can't wait for the workshops. I'm going through this really attentively this time because my membership's evolving. And yeah, I'm excited. Everyone, yes, I'm in, says Rosemary. Yes. You're
I
in
see.
safe hands. You're in safe hands, definitely.
I
Coach.
see. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
people who've got great ideas, and I can't wait to support and helping you implement that. So, I see
Yeah.
you, Olga, Simone. Yes, it 100% can happen for you. Like, this
Yeah.
is what is so fun about the whole idea of a membership is that we can have an idea and we can go from idea to implementation and to see like if the market is interested. And we can do that in a very short period of time. And so I just want to encourage everybody, come join us for the free workshop. Starts as we talked about, and as Michelle mentioned, on May 8th. And you'll see also when you register, to register is absolutely free. There's also an option if you want to get some additional help. And this is the VIP portion where if you want additional help, like after each of the lessons, the next day I will be live in a Zoom workshop helping people implement the very thing that we talked about. So if you want that additional help and support, then I encourage you to register for the VIP. But there's the free one. Just come to the free one and I'll walk you through the whole process.
It's a game
And my
changer.
goal, as I mentioned, is by the end of that free workshop, you've launched your membership and you've got your first paying member. And how amazing will that feel? Oh, I can't wait.
Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. If you're watching the replay, continue to comment. I will be checking the comments. If you've got questions for me, fire them away. I might even be doing a secret workshop soon too, where I'm going to unveil my own membership and talk more about our journey behind the scenes at United Art Space. It's only going to be available to people on our email list. So make sure you're on our email list. That's going to be coming up really soon. Stu, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. I know that you're like super, super busy back to back doing all your amazingness. So thank you for taking the time to speak with our audience. We really, really appreciate you. Stu's book, Predictable Profits, is available too if you want to go and grab that to be your companion alongside the workshops. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank
tuning
you, buddy.
in.
I
Thank you,
appreciate
Stu.
you. And I appreciate all the amazingness that you're putting out into the world and helping artists be able to, build a business, expand their reach and their impact. It's truly inspiring. So, Michelle, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody. See
everyone.
you at the workshop.
Bye. Bye.